He told me that Keith's dad got him a lawyer to keep him from spending time in prison. Keith's father is gonna do what? Your daughter is not in her room. She's not even home. She's at the police station being interrogated by the police after admitting that she lied about my son. Yvette might need some representation. Goodbye. Our daughter is at the police station confessing that she lied about Max Russo. Jeremiah, what can I do for you? You can make sure that your son pays for everything he did to my daughter. What's going on here, Mom? Why is my suitcase outside of my room? It's not my week to stay with Dad.
Oh yes it is. In fact, Keith, since your father refuses to see you pay for your crimes, you'll be staying with him for good.
Hey Max, what's going on? The other day, before your parents stepped into your house, you asked me a question. You don't have to answer. I think I do, Vanessa. The feelings I had for you before we became friends, Sorry to cut your call short, Max, but your mother and I need to have a very important talk with you. I'll call you later. What happened? Yvette Mitchell finally admitted to lying about you. Alright, Yvette. Your mother and I gave you enough time alone after bailing you out. What were you thinking? Why on earth would you confess to lying to the police? I'm taking what Keith did to Vanessa very seriously, Jeremiah. Who do you think you're fooling? How are you taking this seriously when you're fighting to keep Keith from going to prison? As a father, you should understand that I'll do whatever it takes to protect my child. You failed to protect your child, Finnegan. The moment Keith started stalking my daughter is the moment you failed to protect him. You know how terrified Vanessa has been these past few months. I know that my son has caused your daughter pain, but once again, you know what it's like to try and protect your child when they do wrong. Don't tell me that you forgot when JJ shot Devontae Torres. Do you really want me to go to prison that badly?
What I wanted was a son who followed the law and didn't hurt other people. Instead, I got you.
I bet I've made you really happy.
Are you deaf or dumb, Keith? What makes what I said cause you to believe that you've made me happy? How do you not realize that I'm disgusted by your actions?
First of all, I'm not dumb. Not as dumb as you think, because now I gave you the perfect opportunity to finally get rid of me. Yvette actually confessed? What made her do something like that? It's best not to ask questions. Your father's right, Max. Just be grateful that your reputation is no longer tarnished. People don't have to accuse you of being some sort of monster. This is a lot. I never thought that Yvette would ever confess to lying. Let it sink in and take a deep breath. I can understand that this is a bit overwhelming, son, especially after everything Yvette put you through. But this is a time of celebration. So what happens now? Is Yvette gonna face charges? I confess because Max didn't do anything to me. We've already established that. Just like we established that you would only drop the charges against him, Yvette. Don't you understand how serious this is? Don't you understand that the Russos want to put you in prison? Prison is where I belong. You wouldn't be saying that if you land in there. Scratch that, you're not going to prison. Now, D.A. Russo won't be willing to make a deal, but we can sway the judge to ensure that you find some other sort of punishment other than prison.
There's no doubt that I should be punished. It's about time someone in this family takes responsibility for their actions.
You've got some nerve, Finnegan. Don't tell me that you forgot my son shot Devontae in self-defense. On top of that, JJ wasn't in his right mind. And you believe Keith was? My son is mentally ill. As for your son, he knew exactly what he was doing. Putting a camera into a teddy bear so that he could watch my daughter whenever he felt like it. Sending her threatening texts. Following Max Russo and threatening him with a knife. Keith has never laid a finger on Vanessa or Max. He still terrorized those two. My daughter is suffering from nightmares and can't bring herself to sleep in her own room. I promise you, Finian, I will not allow Keith to get away with the damage he caused to my child.
What are you talking about, Keith? I never once tried to get rid of you.
Again, you think I'm some sort of idiot. All my life you spent most of your time at work just so that you could get away from me and Dad.
Did you not realize that I tried to get full custody of you as I was divorcing your father?
Please. You only did that so you could hurt Dad because he hurt you. Being a mother is the last thing you wanted. Once you found out Dad cheated, you knew having me was a mistake.
You sound ridiculous. If I didn't want children, if I didn't want you, then I wouldn't have kept you when I found out I was pregnant.
Because if Dad found out you terminated the pregnancy, he would have dumped you. Now you realize it was a waste of time because Dad ran off and got involved with other women who he found more interesting than you. Yvette lied about you committing a serious crime against her, Max. She wasted police resources. Anyone who does what she did would be in serious trouble. How exactly would she be punished?
She could end up in prison for a year.
And you could have ended up in prison much longer if Yvette got her way. But Yvette dropped the charges. Is it even worth it for her to lose a year of her life over a lie?
What's that supposed to mean, Yvette? I committed a crime, Mom. I don't deserve to be protected.
We love you, Yvette. Your mother and I will never stop loving you. Because of the love we have for you, we will always do whatever it takes to protect you.
I'm not a little girl anymore. That's where you're wrong. You are still a child. Most of all, you are our child. As our child, you shouldn't have to pay for one bad choice for the rest of your life. I guess it's time for me to grow up then.
It's not like I'm gonna allow Keith to run rampage. I plan to get him help. You know you wouldn't be saying that if Keith wasn't your son. Well, he is. And as his father, I'll protect him. If you truly want to protect your son, then you'll teach him that there are consequences to his actions. Because if Keith walks free, I promise that you'll regret it. Let me remind you that I'm the police commissioner, Jeremiah, and I've had a lot of respect for you ever since you stepped into this town. So I hope you're not threatening me. No, I'm not threatening you at all. But since you're not acting like police commissioner, you have lost all of my respect. On top of that, you have made yourself an enemy to my family, a God-fearing family. Going against a family like mine is the last thing you'd want to do.
Your father would be so proud, Keith. I've had to deal with your father for years, and I refuse to deal with a carbon copy for the rest of my life.
Do you plan to drop me off at his house?
Nope. I suggest you call your father to pick you up since he wanted you so bad.
Please don't tell me you feel sorry for her, Max. Because of her, your whole life could have been ruined.
And I understand that Yvette dropped the charges, but the goal was to ensure that this entire town knew that you never harmed her.
Don't get me wrong, I'm glad that Yvette admitted that I never hurt her, but I feel like that's all I really want. I don't really feel the need to get back at her.
This is not about revenge, Max. In fact, Yvette is as much a criminal as Keith Burke is, and she needs to be treated as such.
You're 15, Yvette. That means you still got a lot of growing up to do. And you won't have to grow up too fast by ending up in a prison cell. This time, I need you to listen to everything I tell you. Please.
Baby, don't you understand what you're putting yourself through? What you're putting this entire family through? What were you thinking? I can ask you the same thing, Mom. Excuse me? Never mind. Don't back up now. Since you want to make grown decisions, be grown enough to tell me what's on your mind. Just forget about it. I won't. Not when your father and I have to work hard to make sure that we don't lose you for an entire year. There's clearly something you want to get off your chest, and I'm not letting you walk away from me until you tell me what it is. All right, I know what you've been hiding. What are you talking about? Don't do that, Mom. I know that you kissed Owen Grant behind Dad's back.